Our next nominator will be presented by Jan Rizzuti.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce to you an amazing young man who had the great fortune to have Susan Groff as his biology teacher in high school. I'm introducing Heriberto Olive, Harry. He studied biology at Middle College High School at Santa Ana College as an early college program. In 2010, he graduated with both his high school degree and his AA degree. Then in 2 more years, 2012, he got a bachelor's degree in anthropology, not quite biology, at UC Irvine, but he is now student teaching this whole year in biology in the Costa Mesa High School. And this summer, 2014, next summer, he will be a certified teacher, starting a master's degree, and looking for a teaching position. He also wants to add Spanish to his certification at some point. And all of that is good. I also had the chance to be introduced to one of his classmates Susan has a great entourage over there, but Brenda, I have to just mention Brenda Minhares. She's a physics teacher. I'm a mathematician. I just love the idea of a female physics teacher. She is also student teaching this year, will be on the job market next year. Some fabulous future teachers out there if you know anyone who's hiring. Harry, come up and talk about the wonderful Susan Groff.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Sorry. Okay, so what to talk about, Ms. Groff? What not to talk about? I could write a book if I had to. So I would say that it all started freshman year of high school for me. You know, I was a freshman coming out of an intermediate school that didn't have that much of a great reputation. So I'm like, oh, maybe all the teachers are gonna be the same as like middle school, you know, like move on to the next period. And Ms. Groff was my very first teacher that Monday, August 27th, I will never forget. And I walk into the class and then she's greeting you at the door. Hi, welcome, with like a smile on her face, the most vibrant and positive attitude you would ever see on a teacher. And to me, that showed me, hey, teachers are human. So it did. It showed me they want to get to know me on an individual level. And I was in her biology class that whole year, and our classroom did not have labs, did not have anything, and Ms. Groff showed me, you don't need that to make science teaching worth it. And she taught me, as a student, but not as a teacher, that you can use every little thing as a resource for a lab. And she would like have us on our table doing these labs. And she had science jokes that I'll never forget. We're doing an egg osmosis lab. And then she says, I got jokes for you. So it was with the whole thing, and I didn't get it. It took me a couple months until she explained it to me. But I got it now. I got it, Ms. Groff. And well, as I progressed throughout high school, she was the only teacher that actually like became my school mom, if I could say. She would always check up on me, and I remember I walked into counseling for my sophomore year, and usually we stop at biology at the high school level, or we take the general one at the Santa Ana College, but my counselor told me, oh, Ms. Groff told me that she recommended you for the molecular and cellular biology. I was 14, 15 at the time, taking a class from 4 to 10 in the afternoon, and it was only me and one of my other friends in a class full of like college students. That was the most scariest experience of my life. But it made me want to pursue science, and it made me, you know, the individual I am today, thanks to Ms. Groff and her pushing me and always seeing and saying, anything is possible if you set your heart and soul into it. And this is one woman that's shown me that through teaching, it is possible. And if I can make a difference like she made in my life to one of my students, hopefully in the near future, then I think that's the only way I can truly honor her for all that she has done for me and my family. Quick side story. I remember I was in UCI, it was my final year, and we had gotten rid of our sofa in our living room. I get a phone call in the afternoon because my brother was a high school senior, and I was this was after my first year, sorry. She calls me, Heriberto, I'm like, yes. You don't have a sofa, do you? I'm like, oh. I scream at my brother, why'd you do it at school? By the weekend, I had a sofa in my house thanks to Ms. Groff. I was like, what? And then this year, since I took last year off after graduating in 2012, I was able to take a whole year off. I did notice something. She had personal problems come up around April, and get this, I was able to substitute in the classroom that started it all for me. I was able to end the school year as the high school teacher. was the biology high school teacher, and my brother was a senior in the class. So, on a side note, thank you, Ms. Groff, for everything you have done, and you truly do show that teachers are great people that can give so much, but she will tell you it takes two. It goes both ways, the student and the teacher. Never forget that. So thank you very much, Ms. Groff.
Thank you. I'm a really emotional person. It's really tough. But, thank you to everyone. Thank you, Heriberto, because I love teaching. I love what I do, and I never planned on being a teacher. I fell into it accidentally, and if someone had told me you're going to be a teacher, I would have said no way. And it was back during the Reagan administration when I was in a research lab doing sleep disorder research, and everybody was cut from jobs, and there was no funding in research. So one of my friends said, oh, they're looking for science teachers in the LA Unified. And I said, I don't want to do that. You know, you just need to take the CBEST, they'll give you an emergency credential. And so I'm always up for a challenge, and I thought, okay, I'll do it. And my mom, who's sitting over there, who's 93, she went up with me to, I said, let's, I passed the CBEST, and they called me for 2 interviews. And I said, oh, come on, Mom, let's just go up towards LA. I'm going to just go for the interview just for the fun of it, because I want to see, you know, what this is about, but I probably won't do anything. And they offered me the job after like an hour-and-a-half interview and said, come in 2 weeks and you'll begin. And I had never taught a day in my life, and there were sophomores there staring at me, and I was staring at them. And I was on botany, and that is not my forte at all, right? And I was kind of mean, truthfully, because I thought I don't want them to ask me a question, because I don't know this. Yeah. And I thought, you know, this way they won't ask me anything. And so what happened is once we got past botany and I started to soften, and I became a little more confident because I was so insecure with myself. And I enrolled in the classes to start clearing my credential to take the classes you need. And by in spring, one of the girls came up and said, we need a swim coach. You know, we need a woman. Will you do it for us? And I said, I've never been a coach, but I can cheer anyone on. You know, you can do it, you can. And so I did it. And I remember that girl to this day, Karen. And she said, Miss Groff, when you first came here, you were so mean. And then you turned out to be so nice. And I thought, yeah, and I always tell my students this, because I was so insecure with myself. And I learned through the years that, you know, it's okay, you can tell them that you don't know something, and it's okay to make mistakes and to acknowledge that. But the reason I tell you that story is I stayed in education because of the kids. It was the students. And it has always been about the students. And there's politics in everything. And even when I tell students to become teachers and they go, oh, what about the politics? I said, whatever job you go into, there's always going to be politics. But you always have to remember it's about the kids. So I really, this was such a complete surprise for me. And I want to thank the Carlson family and the board of directors, everyone. Thank you. I mean, this is for your support of education and your generosity. I mean, it's extraordinary, and it's wonderful to see their commitment to education. And we really need that support and more people to step up to the plate for that. But I also want to thank my first teacher, my parents. My dad's passed away, but my mom was my first teacher, and she taught me a lot, truthfully. And my students often say, oh, you're nice, Ms. Groff. I said, not really. My mom's really a lot nicer than I am. I was like, really, I'm not as nice as my mom. And then I really want to thank my own children, my 3 children, who have always been been wonderful, and I've learned a lot from them as well. And let me tell you, they've kept me, as far as, now they're older, but when I would really be current with everything that was happening at school when they were the same age as my students, right? And now they're, well, you're getting old, you kids, you're in your 20s now. But my students keep me current, and I want to thank my students. And Josephine Sanchez here, she is now at UC Merced, and then Brenda, and thank you, Jorge, for bringing her from UC Merced, and Heriberto. But thank you, and I just, it was just extraordinary, because as he said, I was diagnosed in the spring with cancer, and he was supposed to, actually, he was going to be my sub for when I went with the NASA program on the Sophia. And then I said, I need you sooner than in June. I need you now because, I was diagnosed. So everything's great, and it's all working out, and I want to thank everyone.